yo, what is going on, you beautiful people out there? We are back here talking about Marvel's What If Episode 3. What if the Avengers never assembled? Now, yeah, guys, this is kind of what I wanted to tell you guys last week because I was looking forward to this episode a little bit. I was trying so hard not to say anything because I knew you guys wanted to keep a little bit of wraps on it. But I gotta say, I really loved this episode. This is my new favorite episode. I really did enjoy it. I thought it was really cool to see if they all kind of got killed off, even though the Hulk can't die, but they still blew him up in kind of like a big fluffy pillow blowing up like a mushroom cloud or some shit like that. Super cool. Awesome moments and some really good voice acting, I feel like, within this episode. But before we get deep down, what is going on, guys? How did you guys like this episode? We'll go straight to you, Deebs.
All right. It was probably the darkest thing we have seen from the MCU so far. It was hard to see our heroes go out like that. By the way, spoiler. I like the mystery element of this episode. I thought that was the hook that kind of kept me interesting. I loved Hank Pym, that reveal. That was great. Michael Douglas, I thought, nailed it there. He was menacing. He was threatening. The voice work of Michael Douglas was a standout. Lake Bell as Blake Bell as Black Widow was really impressive. I was okay with it. I was absolutely okay with it. You talk about kind of where this storyline could be potentially going. Maybe we see a President Loki down the road. I don't know. I love the ending. You had Captain Marvel, Captain America, and Black Panther really leading the way of the Avengers moving forward. It was a solid episode for me.
What about you, AJ? What do you think about episode 3?
Yeah, I agree with everything Dodge was saying. I really did enjoy the mystery element of it. The voice acting was great as well. What else? We got. I love the little twist that was Hank Pym. That was the villain of this episode per se. I really did like his motivation within this episode as well. So overall, I really did enjoy this episode. Not as much as the second episode, but it was still a decent episode.
No, definitely agree. What about you, Loretto? What do you think about this episode?
Loved it, and not to like echo too much what everyone has been saying, but like it got really dark. It was really like, oh snap, they are going there. Like, so that was kind of caught me off guard, but at the same time it was fun. I liked the mystery, and yeah, the voice work was excellent. I still have problems with the animation on the faces, really? But Samuel Jackson especially was just fantastic. Clark Gregg, who is one of my favorite character actors of all time. I love me some Coulson. I'm a big Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. guy. I know some people don't like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't care. I'm team Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so gotta love some Coulson. And he made some pretty cool quips, some pretty funny wisecracks. Had me going a little bit, especially like amidst all of the darkness. I thought Clark Gregg was definitely a highlight. So
I wanna touch on this comment. This says he struggled with the easy kills. I agree a little bit, but I will say that they were all like sneak attacks more than anything. If they were all prepared, I don't think it would have gone down the same way. That's how I see it, at least. But when I first watched, I was like, how in the hell are they dying so quickly? And I just thought about it a little bit. So at first I hated this episode. And I was like, oh God, why? They just did a huge disservice. Actually, even in episode 2, they did a huge disservice on Thanos, but we already talked about that. And then they do it again within this episode, which was my first thought. And I was like, okay, it's only 30 minutes, and they were all caught on. They didn't know what was going on. So I guess it makes sense for what they were trying to do. So that's my 2 cents on that.
No, yeah, honestly. Oh, sorry, Deebs. Go. I was just gonna agree with AJ because I saw that comment before. I was waiting for you guys to like finish up a little bit to bring it up, but you brought it up right there, thankfully. And Yeah, in the context of a show, in this show specifically, I think it works much more because you do have to bring your limitations down significantly when you're pretty much trying to tell an entire movie's type plot within 30 minutes. I think it worked really good. I think it flowed really well. Like Deeb said, it kept my interest. I think the mystery part of it all is really what it did. And I was kind of assuming that Loki was going to be like the main antagonist. Maybe he came down to Earth before they knew he was coming and he was taking them down one by one. That's how I thought this episode was going to go based off like the promo material that they've been doing the few days before the episodes actually come out. But I thought it was a nice, pleasant surprise that this could give us a mystery thriller type episode, which I thought was really unique, especially killing off each one of the Avengers. And I can't say that the way he killed Hulk was impossible because I don't think we've ever seen someone try to kill Hulk that way. But who knows? We know he shot himself in the head and the big green guy spit it out on the other side. But to touch on Coulson, I thought it was a really funny joke, kind of hinting back to his little fangirl moments with Captain America in the first Avengers movie. Nat, Black Widow, is trying to log into the servers, and she needs his password, and it's like, I heart Steve, 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. And this is where I think Lake Bell did really well as Black Widow. This is the strongest voice performance cast, I'd say, out of the first 3 episodes by far. I think Lake Bell did great. I think Clark Gregg did great. I think Sam Jackson was in this episode a lot more than I was anticipating, which was a huge high for me because who doesn't love Sam motherfucking Jackson, yo, right? But I don't want to keep going on. I want to get a little bit more of your 2 senses. What did you guys like? What did you dislike? What do you think could have been improved or tweaked a little bit? I'll go straight to you, Loretto. You seem excited.
Well, I think this did what the first episode did, but like a lot better because we still had some nods to original moments, like seeing Thor try to get Mjolnir again and beat up the Shield agents, and then like that it just played out a little bit differently. And then also seeing like that scene with the Hulk on the bridge, it was just like the Incredible Hulk film, just a little bit different, and I thought that was kind of cool. That's the kind of fun stuff that I knew we were in for before. You know, a lot of people were complained about the first episode, like, oh, it was just the first Avenger again. But like this episode showed how cool you could be in the same realm as the films that we know, but do something a little bit different. I thought that was kind of cool. And yeah, I mean, negative wise, again, it's just mostly on the animation. I did think the motivation was a little bit weak. Like, I totally get it. Like, Hank Pym would lose his shit if Hope died, but I just felt like his reasoning behind it felt a little bit Saturday morning cartoons. Like, it just felt kind of like, you know, a little kitty in the motivation. But
it was a little too on the
nose.
Yeah.
Besides that, though, I enjoyed the episode. What were you saying, AJ?
I said it was a little too on the nose. It's like,
yeah, like, oh, you killed Hope. You know, it's just like, oh, but you're a good guy. Like,
I think it's weird. You kind of don't like the facial animations. Like I think I agreed with you. I know I did on the first one. I don't know if I did last week or not, but this week I feel like Michael Douglas looked really well. Like they did a really good job at replicating who he looks like in an animated form, which I was really impressed with. And I thought to be a little bit more specific on the voice acting and like the animation of the characters, I think the lip work was much better in this episode. So it didn't seem like the audio was kind of lagging ahead or lagging behind. For instance, I thought it was much better edited, I should say. But what about you, AJ? Some things you thought were a high, some mediums, some lows? What do you think you'd fix?
Yeah, I'm just gonna reiterate what I was saying last week. Basically, was the animation doesn't really do much for me. It's fine, but I really do wish that they do a little bit more variety within the animation. But looks like it's never gonna happen. It looks like they're gonna stick with the same animation team. What's up? What's up? But the things that I did like was basically the story arc. I really did like the concept of the team, the Avengers Initiative, still being an idea, but it wasn't executed because everything just went wrong because of Hank Pym and all of that. I really did like that. The motivation, Laura put this in a good way, that it was a little too on the nose. It was a little Saturday cartoon. It felt really, really, really weird. But once again, I liked it. So it wasn't really a negative for me, but it's like a little bit of a nitpick because I know Marvel can do much better with its storytelling than anything else. So yeah.
Yeah, I definitely gotta agree to a certain extent, but I feel like this is Marvel's first hand in animation. Reportedly, they're already developing the second one, and I think this is really where they're going to start developing their stride, figuring out what does and doesn't work. I think season one as a whole, nonetheless, the first 3 episodes is more of an experiment. I think they really want to hit home what we liked, what could be tweaked, what stories we think we'd rather have rather than like a Captain Carter story where it's instead of just kind of telling an original idea, it's just flipping situations with different characters. Meanwhile, I think the second episode and the third episode were just better just because of how much more unique and creative they were. But what about you, Deebs?
We have Matt Wyatt saying episode 3 was great. Love the murder mystery. Darkest episode so far. Killing off the OG Avengers was bonkers. We have Christy in the house. What's going on, Christy? Thanks for joining at Bring Me Up Music. Christy says, I think the animation is spot on for comics. It reminds me of flipping through a comic book. And Matt says, I can't believe the Hulk died like that. Did anybody have any Blade vibes? Or, when Blade kills, what's his name? Stephen Dorff. I can't remember who is that.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
I can't
remember his character either.
Splatters everywhere. For a show that has a 7 reference. Remember, Nick Fury goes, "What's in the box?" Yeah. And we also had a Lord of the Rings reference where I think Clark Gregg said something along the lines of like Middle Earth. He called the army for Asgard Middle Earth or something along those lines. You touched on it, Loretto. I thought Clark Gregg killed it. Phil Coulson's character was by far one of the highlights. Thor
the funniest line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he called Thor gorgeous. That was really funny. And like Nick Fury was like, "Can you repeat that?" And Phil Coulson something along like, "Yeah, no, he's straight gorgeous. That's it."
Also, he had the best password of all time. Like,
ever. I got it.
Hashtag I love Steve Rogers, Steve 9954, something like that.
It was hashtag Steve I heart Steve 0204.
Oh my god.
Just so good. In terms of like highs, this is what I expected out of this show. I wanted to kind of see craziness, off the rails MCU content, and that's what it gave us. On one end, in terms of negatives, like it didn't have like super memorable characters for me, like Captain Carter, like T'Challa as Star-Lord. Those were just so memorable. 2 characters that I hope we actually see translate to the big screen if that were ever possible. I'm excited to see where this episode goes. So there's like highs, there's lows. There were some funny moments. I would probably put this episode somewhere in between episode 2 and episode 1. So if I had to rank them, I would go episode 2 is my favorite, then episode 3, then episode 1. Even though I love Captain Carter to death. So there's some ups and downs, but overall it was really, really strong.
What did you guys think about Tom Hiddleston's role within this episode? Because I actually quite enjoyed it. I really liked it. I thought he did a good job at voice acting as well, which I wasn't kind of expecting. And I thought it was really funny that Nick Fury kind of, I don't want to say fell for his trickery at the end for being the god of mischief, but I like the ending nonetheless, where Loki kind of just fucked him over either way. He threatened him if he didn't do what he asked, and then he was just going to take over whether he did ask. Very Loki-esque, and I think Tom Hiddleston did a great role. Does anyone have anything to say on Loki's in particular role if they were all decided to be killed by Hank Pym, of all people?
I love the team up. because you knew damn well Nick Fury was not gonna beat Hank Pym mano a mano with his fisticuffs. So I thought that was kind of cool to bring in some extra Asgardian help, so to say. So I thought that was cool, and I also liked the setup for the two captains at the end. That was kind of cool.
I'm convinced that this Nick Fury took gymnastics at some point in his life too, because dude was doing some backflip kicks, the whole 9 yards. I'm like, okay, fucking man of mystery, like holy shit. But
technically, wasn't that Loki, or were they both there?
they. Oh yeah, that's
No, that was definitely Loki. Yeah.
I was
might
gonna say,
have
I
been
thought
Loki.
Loki was doing the acrobatics, and then
That's right.
Nick Fury was in the shadows.
Damn, that's right. Forget what I said, but still, Loki. Either way, did he do gymnastics on Asgard? Like, okay, I think it still works. But
Right.
yeah, I like the two captain teasers at the end. It kind of feels like a different ending or a similar but different outcome for the first episode, because the first episode, instead of Steve popping up in 2011, it was Peggy. But in this one, they're all dead, and Cap comes out already at that point, and it's just Captain Marvel. I was kind of shocked. What?
Captain Marvel looked more badass than ever in this.
Oh yeah, dude. I was
100%.
I agree. She looked fucking cool. Do you know if it was Brie Larson that did like the voice in this episode at all?
I don't know that.
Because it doesn't. She didn't have she had maybe a line or two, so I can't imagine them paying a high price for her. That's why I'm curious. I'm sure AJ will tell us. But did you guys have any more things to talk about regarding this episode until we get into our final scores?
No, it was good. Like you had the twist that with Loki, being Nick Fury, you had a fun little reveal there with Hank Pym. I think overall, like we touched on everything there. It was definitely a distinct move, a solid positive move forward for this show, I think.
It was Alexandra Daniels that did the voice.
Okay.
What about you, Loretto? How would you feel? What would you grade this episode?
I actually agree with Dives. I think the emotional resonance of, obviously Chadwick being in the previous episode kind of elevates that one so much more for me, and it was so much more fun. So I would say I would rate this a little bit lower. I'll probably give it like a solid 8. It was entertaining. I really appreciated they went there, especially damn well kids are gonna watch this show, and kids right now are watching their Avengers die on screen. I think that was I just can't believe they did it. Like Thor has a freaking arrow in his chest, freaking Hulk.
I didn't buy that, by the way.
That's pretty mind blowing. If I was a kid watching this, I'd be like, damn, they're dying. So I appreciated that, and I appreciated the fact that like Dive said, they're taking risks here, and I commend Marvel for doing so.
And but AJ, to what you're saying about I don't buy that. I don't think you're supposed to buy that, dude. There's multiple universes, and why can't one of them be dumb?
Oh,
is there multiple?
God,
it actually just kind of hit me.
The multiverse, bro. Why can't one of them just be dumb?
Why don't you just call it multiple verse?
Wait, did you guys notice that more so than the other two? Actually, I don't even think we saw this in the other two, but we kept seeing the Watcher in the clouds, and I thought that was kind of cool with the shots.
You see that in each episode.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so that was happening?
Yeah, it happens in each episode.
Damn,
I think it happens more often in this episode.
Yeah, definitely happens more often, which is why I think you caught it. But he's only usually in one frame, and I think that's actually my complaint to really complain about the show as a whole. I wish we got a little bit more Watcher, especially when you have Jeffrey fucking Wright as the voice. Jeffrey Wright's amazing. That's all I gotta say. I wish they gave him a little bit more to do. I want to wait to give a full criticism to see how they end the show. Maybe they do some bonkers shit where they use him to connect to actual physical movie. I don't know. Nah. You know what I mean? Seems a little far fetched, but I think you really could have just gotten anyone with a deep ass mystic voice and probably paid less for this show. But they probably paid for the name. Yeah, they probably paid for the name. Yeah. But
that's exactly what they wanted. Yeah.
What about you, AJ? What is your final wrap up and grade?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7.9 out of 10. Not yet a B. I just feel like some of the deaths were a little bit unbelievable. I know it's the multiverse and anything can happen, but a god dying by a arrow, yeah, no, no multiverse, whatever, no, 100% no. What does it say?
He wants to
wants
see
to
the
see your shirt. It's the shirt
Hold
guy.
on.
Yeah, we have the t-shirt game on this podcast is unbelievable. It
He
is
was on
unbelievable.
Leo's show last night too. He wanted to see Leo's Spider-Man shirt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for
Yeah.
watching. Pits.
Greatness. But yeah, some of it, like I said, some of the deaths were a little just I didn't really buy it, but like I said, the emotional beats were there. Animation didn't really, it's fine. I'm not gonna say I didn't like it or didn't like it, but it was a decent episode. I still prefer the last two episodes, even though you guys didn't like the first one. I actually did like the
I
first
love
one.
the first episode.
But yeah, I prefer the last two episodes over this one, so I'm giving it a 7.9 out of 10.
Yeah, I think the show definitely has to find its footing a little bit more in context as a whole, because I feel like we get into this conversation each week about, like, we talk very highly of it, but then once we get into our full descriptions and in-depth reviews when we're grading, we kind of just feel like there's more to be desired within the show. And I do feel like that, but I also really enjoy what they are showing us. So it's kind of in between a weird place and a rock. That's exactly how it feels, because I really love this episode for so many reasons, but then everything you guys bring up about going against it in more of a not so positive way, I also see that too, which is pretty conflicting for me. But I give this episode an 8.9. I really like the dark and grittiness of it. I do appreciate when these lighter heart companies do darker episodes. I think it was cool to see how the Avengers died. I know it's a little, oh my God, I don't believe that, like AJ said. But I think this show, especially with the title, What If, you kind of need to turn your brain off a little bit more than I think you guys are, or some of you, AJ, are doing. But you know what? I really do like the show. I wasn't expecting to like it. I'm not the biggest animation person in the world. You guys know that. But it's Marvel, and I think their stories are interesting, and this was another interesting story. I have no clue what next week is now, so up in arms.
What I really want, I really hope that this this animation studio works out really well. That way we can at some point get like high budget animation movies and stuff like that. That's something that I want to look forward to.
Yeah, Marvel's lacked in that game when it comes to animated movies.
Yeah, I feel like that's the direction they're going towards right now. So hopefully that's what they will do.
Well, they dedicated like a full studio to it now, right? Like Marvel
Yeah,
Animation
They
Studio.
have a whole studio for it now, which is
Also
insane.
Also, the next episode is going to have Doctor Strange in it. So,
Oh, Supreme Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Really?
That's gonna be an interesting one. Bro, if they don't make a Dormammu joke, it's already the worst episode. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If they don't do a Dormammu joke, it's the worst episode. I'm calling it now. But does anyone else have anything to say before we wrap out of this bitch?
I'm gonna give my grade. I'm gonna give 9.1. So I'm the highest one here tonight with this episode. I thought it was really strong. But yeah, I agree with a lot of what you guys said, but it's intriguing. This is what I wanted out of What If. I wanted the MCU plots to go off the rails. I'm good with all that kind of stuff, and I did not expect Hank Pym to be the guy revealed to be the killer. I love how they had Nick Fury replaced as Loki in that fight scene. I love the animation during the fight scenes. I think that's been a highlight through 3 episodes. When the action scenes hit, they definitely hit, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. And yeah, I give this a 9.1. For me, I think this is a solid show so far.
Yeah, and you guys always know what to do. Like, comment, and subscribe on the YouTube channel. Tell us what you like. Tell us what we can improve on. We're always open ears. And don't forget to follow our Twitter at the Suit Up Geeks for all of our information. By the way, September 18th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The best comic book movie draft is going down, people. So, like I said, follow our Twitter, stay up to date with all of our information, and we'll see you guys next week for What If episode 4. See you on the next one. Peace.